So this is 5-2 on probability rules, the beta lesson. Before we get to that, this is current and accurate. I edited the calendar that is on Canvas. So there's no assessment in here for this week. You're aware of that. Next week is the Chapter 5 test at the end of the week, which is the last day of the marking period. Next Friday is it. First marking period's over. And also, I was wrong on the calendar. I assumed since we had off on Tuesday for Election Day that this day was going to be a beta day. It's not. So I spoke to admin. This is just a week from Wednesday is just one of your office hour days. So next week, the A children are in the building twice, and the B children are only in the building once. So was I. I was mistaken, and I ran into the principal, and I asked him. Okay, so that's the schedule from the top. It's not, I made an assumption too, and I was wrong. Okay? So, we're going to pause this because I'm going to send you two places. Page 325 to read over the summary and the Google slides from 41 to 71. So for the example about pierced ears on page 319, they're giving you the total. So just ask you some questions. But the idea is, when you did the alpha lesson, we referenced Venn diagrams. And Venn diagrams are a helpful way of organizing information. You probably started doing it at ETR. It's the same thing in a two-way table. And you want to get on board with graduating to two-way tables because that's the language of the course. Two-way tables are to statistics what H charts are to calculus. And I looked in the yearbook last year, and H charts got a shout out in the yearbook for one of the most helpful organizational tools. So two-way tables are the same thing. So if I'm looking here to just relate this to a Venn diagram, where the circles intersect is the end part. And what's outside of the circles is what the book refers to as the complement, not something, okay? So I'm looking at this thing. If I'm going to relate this, so you see this. The table, the columns are gender and the rows are earrings. And they're saying A is a male student. So male and pierced ears, positive on both. This center's at 19. We're not doing the whole thing. 19 is where they overlap because they're saying they want male and pierced ears to be the two things that are being measured here. And then neither male nor pierced ears would be 4. That would be out here. Make sense? The total males are 90. So this circle on the left has 90 in it. So we got 19 already. So this would be the 71. And then for the ears, we already got 19 in there for the pierced ears. And then the 84 will be there because the total piercings are 103. So that's what it would look like in a Venn diagram. Your job, like we're doing now, we're asking you to go from the two-way table to a Venn diagram because it's really you're going to be asked to go the other way around. So I look at the questions. What's the probability of B? So B in this context is pierced ear. The sum of the pierced ear row is 103 out of 178. Success over total. The next question, and this is awkward. It's awkward in the book because they've got questions A, B, and C, and they've got set A and set B that you're Not too well done. Probability of B and A and B. Male and a Pierce steer. Well, we saw that. That's what's in here, which is row 1, column 1, 19 out of the total, 178. A or B. Well, A or B is everything except for these people. So I could just subtract that and say the answer to C would be 178 take away 4, 174 to 178. Does that make sense? What the Pierce steers question isn't complicated. Then you go to page 321. And now what happened? Well, they added another row. So now we got 3 rows and 2 columns. And on the two-way table on page 321, the totals are missing. So you got to be aware of that. So all I did was say the grand total is 1526. But you weren't given this. You were only given these cells. The totals weren't there. Well, you want to put them there. So you got to look for that when you get a two-way table, whether it's included or not. So it says, what's the probability a person is an environmental club member? So if you're in the club, it's this. It's the sum of this column, yes, to the club, out of 1526. So if you look, you have to add them up. They don't give it to you. 212 plus 77 plus 16. Does that make sense? We're not going through the whole thing because you're going to do a problem at the end, but I just want you to see the difference between the two. In the first example about Pierce steers, the two-way table included the totals. In the one about Yellowstone, there was an extra row, and they didn't include the total. Page 324, Facebook versus Instagram. Now what happened? These are proportions. We can have a proportion up here. All we would do is divide everything. We do a size change of magnitude 1 over the total. So if we divided all these numbers by 1 over 1526, they would become proportions. So you could get the numbers, the data numbers, or you could get the proportions in the two-way table. And you look, what they got is, see on page 324, they want you to take that Venn diagram and fill in the two-way table. So I see the complement that's out there is 29%. That 29% would go here because it's no to Facebook and no to Instagram. Then what? Facebook, 43%. Facebook, yes. See the 25%? But Facebook, yes, and Instagram, no. That's the 43%. Because the sum of this column was given to be 68%. And that has to be 3%. Does that make sense? So you're just looking at the same idea with different perspectives. So we're going to pause the video, and you're going to 2 questions. Now, $41 and $45. $41. Now, I wrote this tilde here. Tilde means not breakfast. The way the textbook writes it is, I write not breakfast. They're writing breakfast with that C superscript as the complement. That's the information was given. What's the probability of the complement? Not breakfast. So the sum of the not breakfast row is 295 out of 595. F and not breakfast. Female and not breakfast. Female and not breakfast intersects at 165 over 595. Female or not breakfast. So if you're female or not breakfast, you could add up this. These three, female or a male not breakfast. Or you could just say this. The only thing that's left out is the male and breakfast. So I could take 190, which is how I did it there, out of 595. But you get the same answer if you added 130 to 110. And got 240 and added that to 165 and got 405 out of 595. Okay? So we're going to pause it again so you can go to the roulette wheel where you have to build a two-way table. So for the roulette wheel, the events B and E. B is black. So you've got black, not black. Well, not black are the red and green results. Okay? So you can make, you can make that a row or a column. It's up to you. E, even number. Even number, not an even number. Odd number, how you want to do it. It says treat 0 and double 0 as even numbers. So you got to build the two-way table and then fill in the data values. Okay, 45. Ready? There are 10 numbers that are black and even. There are 10 numbers that are red and green or even, counting the 0 and double 0. That are odd numbers in black, 8. Odd numbers in red or green, 10. And there's 38 numbers altogether. There's 36 digits, plus there's 36 natural numbers, plus the 0 and the double 0. So B asks, what's the probability of B? Get a black number. The sum of the column over the grand total, 38. It's probability to get an even number. Sum of the row over 38. So you got more even numbers than odd numbers because the 0 and double 0 counted as even. What's the probability of black and even? Black and even, 10 out of 38. That's the list of them. It's hard to, when you read the table, read the book. Black or even. Black or even is everything except for not black and odd, except for that 10. So what do you got? 28 out of 38. Okay. You can't just add the 18 and the 28 is what I'm pointing out to you, because black and even gets counted twice. I might have overdone this. But you're saying black or even, I go to not black, not even, that's 10. Take that away from 38, leaves you at 28 over 38. All right? So if you are at home